a different label is used. So you won't have a person's name, or you won't have a person's ID number. You'll instead have some other sort of identifier or label that only the researcher knows that the person can't be identified with. Another technique is anonymization, where you take out personal identifiers. There's sort of quite a long history within computer science in terms of trying to develop techniques for this. And it's been found that, in fact, with very little information, it's possible to say with some fairly high degree of probability who a given person is. So, for example, having, say, a date of birth, a postal code, it can sometimes be possible to identify an individual with a given degree of probability. So it turns out to be quite difficult to develop digital face mask techniques, but they are sort of ongoing. So as technologies develop for bigger and bigger data sets, then the technologies for trying to somehow mask the identity of individuals also develop. So those are a couple. I don't know if that helps.
Okay, let's take one last question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess for me it was a good decision to have come to listen to this talk this morning, for obvious reasons, as the custodian of research ethics in the university. But thanks also for such an insightful talk.
Thank you.
I want to talk about, what I saw recently. Just last week, most of us, we spent maybe a few minutes or even hours following the funeral of the Queen Elizabeth. And what took me aback was at some stage when...
Excuse me, Dr. Mabila, can you just raise the voice a bit?
Okay, thank you. What took me aback was at some stage when I watched on YouTube and the speech-to-text technology and how accurate that was on a feed that comes from Sky News or BBC. Obviously, because the language was spoken by the native speakers as they narrate what's happening during the course of the funeral and the other events that were taking place. And I'm thinking about how that will still take us long years to get someone like me speaking in English and probably someone watching this discussion on YouTube and turning on the speech to text, and what comes out in the predictive speech that comes as a text in the bottom there. Quite very interesting words come up when we speak and when we try to go there. And I guess in some of the solutions that you propose there, I think you propose 4 solutions. One would also perhaps maybe add the whole issue of emphasizing cultural issues, as well as, the multilingual nature of society, the fact that pronunciations are mainly coming from what the native language of every speaker of English would be. So you know that the French would speak English with an accent, the Afrikaans speaking will speak with an accent, the Sotho speaking person would not speak, even if we all come from South Africa. So there's quite a great deal of that. But eventually my thoughts converge on the sense that there could be a possibility of us acknowledging the fact that sometimes technology advancement is imperative and it's going to be as fast as possible because of also other influencers, like the need for profit from whosoever is involved in technology development and all that. And sometimes it can't wait for ethics to be sorted out before things go ahead. So we should always rely on whether or not the benefits outweigh the negatives. And in all cases, so one would always say to colleagues, let's look at how the benefits outweigh the negatives. And where possible, if the benefits are more strong enough to push for going ahead, we will always be able to say to any person who's involved in research in technology or any other research, for this and this and that, let's be careful that there are no adverse events so that we are able to make progress and development. So I guess mine is just an input. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And can we please give her another round of applause? So at this moment, Dr. Robinson will just step down, and then Prof. Mukhanedi, could you please come and do the handing of the token of appreciation on behalf of the Faculty of Science and Agriculture. Thank you. Doctor, you can just... Just, yeah, sure. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is the moment for the announcements. And colleagues, I will indicate that if you check the program, you may have realized that we do have a plenary talk, but this plenary talk is meant for the School of Physical and Mineral Sciences, and we indicated that the School of Molecular and Life Sciences may join. And of course, SACE is out of it. So SPMS is in a very small venue. And one option would be to say that we move SACE from this venue for the next 30 minutes. They go and occupy another venue, but it won't work. And I really would ask the conference to bear with us here as the team. So the decision based on that, and also based on the interest on this plenary talk that's coming, we have decided that in order not to bring confusion of people walking up and down for these coming 30 minutes, then we allow people to remain in this hall, and then the plenary will be here. And then after that, then we can now go to our separate rooms, as we've been doing from day one. So please bear with us because of that change. So I also want to try and save time. So with the normal announcements that I do, let me quickly do these 3 announcements so that after this, then we know that everyone is just going to their rooms and we are done with that. Okay, so the venue issue, I don't think today really there's a need for us to still say Ivory is this, because I think people have been here. So after this, we just go to our normal venues, and then I will move to the third one, which is the posters for the honor students. We do have a school that still has to go through the honor students' posters. So we will ask the students to make sure that their posters are put up on the boards in the foyer of this conference room. And then the So the second last is about the sponsors. We do have our sponsors, some of them who are here. They are displaying the products and also can share with us the kind of service that they offer. So they are in the foyer of this venue. Please, during breaks, let's do what we've been doing from day one. We visit those stalls. And then the last one, we will allow, once we're done here, we will allow 10 minutes then for people to move to their venues. Thank you. And let me take this moment now to introduce one of our own, Professor Solani Matebula, who is going to give us a plenary talk. And he is from the Department of Optometry at the University of Limpopo. So, Prof, you can come to the podium. Let's give him a round of applause. Because I don't know what the talk is. Can we get his talk? I don't know where it is.
Okay, of course. Of course, of course.
Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, the menu for what they like. Yeah, heading, going down, going up. Yeah. Then you want to.
Yes, thank you, sir.
This one is for. I don't know, but it doesn't. Does it? I'll ask you.
Thank you, Chair, and I would like to thank the organizing committee to have invited me to be here. And my talk is so much on the eye. Like the eye has so much of its anatomical, physiological, chemical, and mainly physics, optics. So, of all the senses that we have, we don't mind even if we lose them. But if that vision is gone, and that vision it's in this way. As you are looking at me, you are not seeing me. Light is reflected from me to you, and you are seeing these colors that I'm having, and it's sent to the brain through the eye. So we use the brain to see. We are not using the eye. The eye changes this physical light into a neurological. And in physiology, normally we call it transduction now, where all the chemical reactions are happening. And this eye, the way it's so important, we so often take it for granted. But imagine one day you close your eye, it never open. What's going to happen? So now, the eye, the way it's so complicated, it needs several factors to understand exactly